Most important piece of camera gear? Got to be a small tripod. Let's talk more about getting into filming your hunts in 2023. So yeah, the small tripod is clearly a workhorse in my arsenal, and I would say before we get too far into this video, I have self-filmed for about 6 years now. I have produced a self-filming Whitetail Addictions web show and done some things more on the production side, but also balancing in the fact that you're a solo man on a mission trying to most likely shoot a deer and the film is secondary. So I think a lot of my gear and my perspective here is going to help guys that are maybe wanting to dabble in it for the first time as far as filming their hunts is concerned. The gear today is way better and you can produce a pretty good product for minimal investment, and especially getting started in the space. Heck, everybody has a cell phone. Now I would be recording this in my studio, but we got chickens downstairs, so the kitchen table is gonna have to do. So the reason I say the small tripod is such a key piece is because one, the fact it's small, and us as hunters, we take backpacks places, we can put it on the tailgate of a truck, we can put it on the hood of a car, we can carry it in the woods with us. A small tripod works way better than, say, this giant thing that is a beast of a tripod. So getting this small, and I find the Joby one to be awesome, and it's more expensive than other small tripods, but it is a workhorse. You can wrap it around branches. If it's super lightweight to carry, you could film a turkey hunt. It takes great recovery photos. It does a lot of things. So I'm gonna link that below. And a lot of guys looking to get into this are always asking about a camera. And I'm like, that is the last place to start because everyone has a cell phone. And I think that's important because the cell phones now are so good. Samsung probably is a little more advanced than the Apple, but Apple has the ability to AirDrop, work on a Mac, work on an iPad. There's some integration there that's a lot easier. And I will say if I was buying a Samsung, I would look at the storage capability, and I really like the fact some of them have the micro SD card ability. Phone can literally shoot 4K, can shoot slow-mo, can shoot time lapses. It can do a lot in the right hands. I do have a little button guy on the back of mine just to make filming. Sometimes I got like a grip on there. But using that in combo with one of these cell phone style clamps that you can hook up. Now I will say I would probably get one that has like a mic adapter on top. That way you can run some shotgun mics later if you want to. Why I would start with the phone is this gets you into the game for something you generally already have. This lets you shoot footage, realize what a pain in the ass changing, setting up a tripod to get one particular shot that maybe 1 second in a video is. You can take this to the woods with you. It fits in your front pocket. Something I find a huge advantage cell phone compared to a big clunky camera is you use it more. It's quick and accessible. The best camera is the one you got on you. And so this being so accessible is a great tool. The selfie mode, you can kind of line up your shots a little better sometimes as well. But this in the right hands can do a lot. And actually my favorite shot I've ever put into a film was shot with like an iPhone 7. And it's because I turned around in the tree and the sun and the snow is like cracking through the tree branches, and I couldn't get my main camera out, and I was just like, oh, let me grab this with my cell phone. And that shot to me is still one of the best shots I've ever produced all time. National Geographic would want it. Some other things to consider about starting the process, right? Using your phone is the ability to start chopping and editing footage. And there's a handful of apps out there that you can chop up anything. I'm very familiar with, say, Final Cut Pro or the smaller version, iMovie. And those allow you to really start dabbling in the space, understanding what it's like to maybe put together a handful of clips. And then you realize, oh, I wish I had additional clips, or I shot all this footage that really didn't do me any good. But it allows you to learn the process, which is the biggest thing you got to start doing if you're wanting to film your hunts. I would recommend anybody do a couple other things prior to hunting season and film those and put together maybe a small video. That's something I mention a lot in my web course I have. I will mention Patreon. I organized both podcast video clips, examples, a full-blown self-filming production course that would definitely accelerate the learning curve by 3, 4, 5 years for guys. I will link that below as well. Let's talk action cams, because I think that is brought up way too much. What GoPro should I get? And actually, I think until recently, GoPro, they had their name on the market, but maybe wasn't the best option for guys. This is the Osmo Action Cam by DJI. And I know a lot of high-end producers that actually were going to these. Now, I don't know about the latest and greatest GoPro models, but this is much more reliable, it seems like, in that aspect. And I've got front screen ability. It's got some cool features. Now, I do think some of the film your hunt aspect of maybe some Tacticam models is really good. I like the fact that they kick on and go automatic record mode. I think they've got a lot of cool clamps as well for them, but I think with action cam that you can kind of see the screen is kind of built for more other videography besides filming hunts, you can do a touch more with. You know, I think your cell phone's way better than just an action cam. And in fact, there's a company out there that is, I think it's called Painted Arrow. They came out with a pretty cool like bow stabilizer clamp for your cell phone. So essentially you could film your B-roll, your interview, whatever, and then clip it to your bow, and if a buck walks in or a deer you want to shoot, boom, shoot it with that, edit that up, boom, you've started your experience in filming your hunts. Another piece of gear I really want to touch on and recommend is the small shotgun mic. And this just really improves overall audio, like in the woods, or if you're doing an interview. The built-in microphones are not the best. And you can take one of these and run them even on a cell phone style rig or a small camera rig. And I will say you got to get the Apple adapter if you're going with your iPhone. But this will take your production level without really investing all that much. And actually, this microphone is not a Rode. It's a Boya. And so for the price, it's pretty solid. So something I forgot to mention inside was the camera arm. And that is the pain in the ass of self-filming. And I will say it has gotten a lot better. There's quite a few good options on the market. I would look at Lone Wolf Custom Gear's pocket arm. I like the fact that it's one thing to set up and it's got a bag holder. Timber Ninja has a carbon arm that's like coming or / available by now that I would also look at. And then Genesis 3D Printing has a small 1-pound camera arm that looks to be pretty cool too. And there's also some, let's call them homemade or DIY guys selling them on like the secondary market that might be a touch more affordable, probably not as good functionality, but it looks like they're making some small compact arms. I would not go get a bazooka arm. That is for sure. I would avoid anything made by Muddy. Fourth Arrow has some things, but I think there's a couple others out there that I would look at before Fourth Arrow. Something I do want to mention by talking about tripods, I do think the ball joint has maybe a touch up in 2023, and that is because you can turn maybe your bigger camera sideways and shoot for reels or TikTok, if you will. I'll say this, and you know, I've filmed some hunts and done some pretty cool things in the production space. It's not necessarily the equipment. I think a lot of guys think the equipment is the key to the next level. I think creativity, I think honing the craft, and some people don't got it. Like, there is an eye. This is an art. Like, I can't draw or paint or sing, but I seem to have an eye for a little bit of videography, photography. So no matter the gear, you know, you could hand me an iPhone and hand some guy like a really high-end Red, and if he just doesn't have the natural eye or ability, I'm gonna outproduce him, even though he may even be able to work the Red camera. Appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, if you're interested in my web course, let me know. I will link that below. We'll